Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So in November 2016, shattering November in 2016, absolutely devastating November in 2016, an inevitable candidate proved herself to be not that inevitable and was beaten by a reality show host. The world shook. It shook in terror. They didn't know what the hell was going to happen. Yes, and that reality show host became president of the United States. Now, here's the catch. However Trump won it, the reality of the situation is the person who's inevitable, who proved herself to not be inevitable, hit the guy who by every polling indicator would have won in the knees. She hit him in the knees. She broke him. She paraded his body around the DNC, put his head on a stake so progressives can see. This is what happens to you. We're the adults in the party. Sit the fuck down and vote for her. Vote for her. It's your job. It's your duty. Do what your ruler said at this point, because at this point Bernie Sanders was saying, crying with tears in his eyes, vote Hillary. That guy would have won. That guy would have won. By all polling indicators, that guy would have won. He would have landslided him. But you wanted to get your candidate because it was her turn. And the public, even with the gun to their heads of Trump, they said, it's not her turn, it's his. He's different. He's change. He's not saying hope and change. He's saying make America great. Same difference, different tune. I'm going to give him a chance because I want something different. This isn't working for me. I want something different. And you're literally saying that you are status quo and Obama did fucking awesome. So yes, you lost. Now, I've contended that the parties are a duopoly. They work in tandem. Obama gave wealth to the 95% of the wealth to the top 1%. That's a pretty heavy load. Can Trump best them? Maybe. But he's only besting them by 5%. Like, it's not one of those things with this massive disparity between those two things. So if that's the case, but I can also contend that these other guys hate Trump. Like, Trump is fundamentally different than they are, even though they're going to do the same things in that office. Trump is the guy who lets you know, yes, I'm fucking you. The Republican Party puts a mask on that the Democratic Party puts on. Here's my corporate face. I am being a corporate face. I'm non-threatening. I'm going to rape you, but I'm non-threatening. That's effectively what takes place. Donald Trump rips that mask off and his Ghost Riders flaming head. Oh, this is what I'm doing to you, Donald Trump. Because you need to know Trump did it. So he puts his Trump advertisement on it. One horrible policy at a time. This is kind of what I'm getting at. Trump is problematic, whether you realize it or not. He's not problematic because he's going to nuke Finland. He's problematic because he's too real. He's too honest. He's too honest. What he is, the things that he's doing, is far too honest. It doesn't have the corporate mask on it, so it comes across as grotesque. What the Republicans were going to do anyway was going to be grotesque. But Trump makes it that much more grotesque. Now, maybe not to Trump supporters, but to a wider audience. Oh, man, yes. Trump supporters, get out your context. That man is a flaming head. He's a problem. And look, here's the catch, though. The investigations that they're bringing up, kind of bullshit. It's kind of bullshit. It's like, we've shown nothing to show that there was any ties with Russia at all between Trump and Russia. And yet, we're opening up investigation on that particular thing. Where's your evidence that there's collusion between Trump and Russia? This makes no sense to me. I'm sorry, it just makes no sense to me. I don't like Donald Trump, but that makes no sense to me. That makes no sense. I always feel myself in this moral quandary of sorts. Because it's, yes, I also think he's dangerous. He's a wild card. He's absolute wild card. This man is fomenting a war with multiple countries, even though he said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to focus on the United States. So yes, I think he's a wild card. So because I think he's a wild card, there's this part of me of saying, yes, they're tying him up. They need to tie him up. There's this other part of me that's saying this is a bullshit case because it's a bullshit case. It's fucking horrible to be in the position of like, oh man, I don't want to defend this asshole because this asshole is dangerous, and yet this is a bullshit measure to do it. It's a bullshit measure. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like a cop saying, I'm arresting him for resisting arrest. Resisting arrest to what? Don't you have to do something to resist arrest? How are you locking me up for resisting arrest for something I didn't do? You didn't even state an original crime. It's kind of the same way. They're putting out this thing like there's a collusion between Trump and Russia. Okay, hey, where are you getting this from? Special prosecutor, what the fuck? Where are you getting this collusion from? I've seen no collusion. I've seen no collusion. Even if you can prove that Russia has something to do with the interfering in elections, doubtful. Even if you can prove it, you're still stuck with this thing of there's no link between this and that. Russia has a vested interest in getting Trump in office, regardless. Meaning, I don't think that it exists, but giving you your strongest argument of the case that Russia has something to do with it. Your strongest argument, that's your biggest gun. And it still doesn't make a link between those two things. It doesn't make a link. It's not there. Look, this is my point. If they can take him down using shit like this, it's like if they're having this thing where they're trying to gin up reasons to get impeachment. That's what's going on. Just what I understand. It's the special prosecutor. They're giving him powers for the most part. They want them to dig him to Trump. But you have to ask the first question. What are you using as evidence of showing that there was collusion between Trump and Russia? Even if you're showing that Russia somehow interfered, that nobody else has seen this evidence other than the intelligence services, trust us. We don't get this shit wrong. Trust us. You get this shit wrong all the time. I'm sorry, I don't trust you. But even if you can show that, you have never shown a link between Trump. If Russia had a vested interest in doing it, they didn't need Trump's consent to do it. I'm sorry. There's nothing that you've said to me to this point that I'm saying to myself, maybe Trump and Russia colluded. They don't need to. Why would they need to? If he was going to do something, he would have did it on his own. He didn't have the conversation with Trump to do it. He's doing what's in the best interest of Russia. One person wants to put missile defense shields in Syria that's going to start a war, Hillary Clinton. The other person says, I want to be conciliatory to Russia. Who do you think Russia is going to back? Who do you think Russia is going to back? The guy who wants to get in a war, or the guy who's saying, yes, I want to be conciliatory towards Russia? It's just a weird thing to come up with a trial like this over something that hadn't been shown to have any evidence for. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They're going after him politically to take him down. They think he's a wild card. I also think he's a wild card. I don't know if they believe this Russia thing or not. Maybe they do. Who knows? I don't know. But I guarantee you that there's part of them that says, yes, I just want to tie him up. I just want to tie him up. Keep his hands from doing anything else. So Trump has a right to be a little miffed on. It's like, what the fuck? How did this happen? And this is, to some degree, being overwrought. So he's not crazy in that front. It just feels weird, man. Like having this thing of this internal pull of sorts of, yes, this is somewhat bull. Oh man, but yes, I also kind of want him tied up. That's all. That's all. It's just a weird thing. Now, if they do that, if they get to the point where he's impeached, I would almost guarantee you that Republicans will go along with it. I guarantee you some will. Some are looking for pretexts. Democrats are trying to find pretext. Now, the reason I say that is, and look, I'm being conspiracy theory for the moment. I don't necessarily fully believe this. I'm just making a point or case. Yes, you can make theoretical cases, just, conceptual. And I think from the standpoint of, does somebody have an interest in doing something like this? Meaning, Trump's a kleptocrat. Trump is too over the top. Trump is causing us problems. How bad he is going to reflect on the party. Oh man, we got to get him off that office. Democrats were like, we need to get his ass out that office because we think he's a fucking monster. Do you have collusion at that point? Media falls in line because media hates Trump. Do you have all these avenues of attack in the sense of all these guys have something to gripe about against Trump? I've heard situations where Republicans said, oh man, I can't stand his fucking guts, but I'm stuck with him because my constituents love him. Would they dethrone him if they get the opportunity? Now, here's the catch. Mike Pence gives you everything that Donald Trump gave you. Literally. With one caveat. The public goes to sleep. It's a typical Democrat and it's a typical Republican, and you have status quo. And even though Mike Pence is going to do everything that Trump is going to do, he's going to be as ghastly and as horrible, everything else, he's going to come across with grandfather demeanor, and it's not going to seem as bad. Your illusions have been reaffirmed. The reality of it hadn't changed. That's what I'm getting at. Mike Pence is worse because Mike Pence is the exact same quantity as Donald Trump, if not more hawkish. That's the reality of the situation. You getting Trump out of that office is getting the worst case scenario. Somebody who is theocrat, fucking nuts in regards to military, and Mike Pence is just Donald Trump. He just has a better demeanor. Like most of these guys are for the most part the same. Their demeanor is different. What you consider to be tone and moderation is their demeanor. I'm a grandfatherly type guy. Yes, I'm going to do really bad shit to you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to squeeze the shit out of you in regards to the poor. But I'm going to do it with a grandfatherly demeanor. Your illusions are there. You think your world is safe and sound because I have a grandfatherly demeanor. I'm calm. I'm Mike Pence. But I am fucking you over royally. Who do you want? The guy who looks like flaming head. Yes, I'm fucking you over royally. Or the people where people will go to sleep. Their illusion secure. Which one do you want? I prefer the flaming head. Now, the reason I prefer the flaming head is because I think that brings people into this cathartic state faster. The reason they don't want the flaming head there is for the exact same reason. You're screwing with our model. We could put a Democrat or a Republican in it and get the same thing. Get his ass out that office. Meaning, is there a thought of a potential coup trying to get Trump out that office by interests that supersedes party and even into the political media apparatus? And if there was such a thing in place, would it look like what it looks like now? The media bashing Trump left and right over this Trump and Russia thing. They won't shut up about it. Democrats screaming at the top of their lungs, and at the top of their lungs getting more and more people on news and media and everything else to pay attention to it. How long do Republicans defend him? Particularly if his poll ratings go down low, meaning he's hurt politically, and there's some evidence that comes up. Real or imagined, some evidence that comes up. Well, they can say, hang their hat on and say, right there, that's too far. All of them stand up, that's too far. I can't support this particular action. Yes, I sign up for impeachment. Yes, let's get his ass out of that office. That would be a coup. That would literally be a coup. Unless they can prove to you definitively, this is the evidence that we have. Not the shit of NSA told us. No, you need to see it. That something like that took place. Because understand, you are taking the president out that office. Think of him as you will. I've called him a goblin. Think of him as you will. He's still a president. He's still a president. And do you want a situation where they can willy-nilly take a president out that office just because they don't like that president, even though the person who's coming behind him is the exact same quantity? It's the exact same quantity. I don't know, man. That just bothers me. They're going after his ass on this stuff, and they're blowing this out of proportion like nobody's business. And the big issues, the big overwhelming issues that affect everybody else for the most part are ignored for this thing with Russia, this thing that they haven't proven, that I guarantee, or at the very least I strongly believe that they're doing this just to tar him and just confine him, constrain his actions. It's like a pen in chess. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that. I'm making this point of, to be a conspiracy theorist at the moment, will there be a person or a group of people who get together and say, yes, let's get his ass out that office. He's too much of a kleptocrat. He's going to ruin our thing. And in doing so, it's waiting for the moment, meaning that Julius Caesar moment, where the knives come out and they go stabbing. Purely when there's some little tweak of evidence that they can use to justify their actions, would they take him out that office, believing that Mike Pence would be easier to work with? Because understand, they hate Trump. Mike Pence, they love him. They would love Mike Pence. You think they can't kill Obamacare with Mike Pence? They can kill Obamacare with Mike Pence. They can do a lot of shit with Mike Pence. Mike Pence is their type of Republican. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. When Trump picked Pence, oh man, I thought to myself, dude, they're going to want you out of office. That was one of my thoughts. They're going to want you out of office. But again, this is me going conspiracy theories, me thinking for the moment, is there a perspective out there like that? I want to say yes, there has to be. If there's anybody that's sitting back and thinking to themselves, all right, politically, how can I get myself further along the line? Or, better yet, are my interests best served with Trump being the way he is in that office, or Mike Pence being the way he is? And hell, you may even look at it as Democrats are going to hurt themselves doing this level of impeachment in the same way that Republicans hurt themselves when they did that impeachment of Bill Clinton. Maybe. It's politics. Who knows? But if that perspective exists and that perspective is looking at it in that way, yeah, I can see that perspective cobbling together one or two saying, let's get his ass out the seat. Get Pence in there and we can do some business. I can see that. Particularly if you're talking about not even the politicians, the funders, the people who are buying these guys. Get Pence in that seat. Trump. Get Pence in that seat. I can see that if they're freaked out by Trump. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. That's me being a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying they were going after him balls out, and the media is going right after him balls out. And I've seen Republicans gutting some of the plans that Trump himself has made, including John McCain. People who I would imagine didn't give a shit about that particular thing, but voted against it. Meaning, is John McCain still pissed at Donald Trump? I would say yes. I would imagine there's a lot of Republicans pissed at Donald Trump. When the knives come out, maybe, that would be fucking amazing. That would be amazing politics. Yeah, that would be amazing politics. My feeling is no way. My feeling is no way. Well, yeah, my feeling is no way. But my feeling is no way is more so because it's that would be just mind-blowing lightning bolt in American politics. So we'll see. That's me being a conspiracy theorist for the moment. But is it really that far off? Like, in regards to how these guys be weighing this stuff, or how I believe they weigh this stuff. Yeah, we'll see. If it's two or three cobbled together, yeah, I can see it. I can see it. If you look at it as, we can do business with Pence, I don't like Trump, then yes, I can see it. I can totally see it. But who knows? I'm doubtful of that. If we're talking about just average politics and they're looking at themselves as individuals, not necessarily looking at themselves as a group, then maybe not. But if they cobble together, yeah. Any, accruing of people together and saying, we can do business with Pence, that's not necessarily inconceivable to me. I'm just saying it just will be a lightning bolt in American politics. It's like seeing Hillary Clinton getting locked up. You're like, whoa, they locked up Hillary Clinton. It's just mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing. All right, leave it at that. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support the work through Patreon. Thank you.